What's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and tonight we are going to unveil our Week 2 top wide receiver matchups. But before we start the video, I'm going to bring back my co-host, Zach Roberts, to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
What's up, A-Team Fantasy Nation? Yo, thanks for having me back, Josh. I appreciate it, man. We appreciate all the love for the last videos, guys.
Well, let's dive right in because I know we got a lot of stats to cover.
We do. But here, before we get to all the list, I want to get these guys out of the way. Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and DK Metcalf. You got them, start them. We're not even going to go. They're not even going to be on the list. Just got to start those guys. They're studs. So with that said, let's get to the number one guy on my list is Tyler Lockett. He's going against Tennessee, the 31st ranked defense versus the pass. Lockett had only 4 receptions, but it was for 100 yards and 2 TDs. So with that said, man, DK Metcalf, I already mentioned him. They can't double team both of them. So both of them are going to get chances for red zone, end zone targets. So we already mentioned Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett, I believe, deserves to be at the top of this list. He's a stud. So look for more of him for the same this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think he had a couple of deep bombs that he caught passes from last week. So I'm expecting more of the same out of him this week, along with Metcalf. So it's going to be a good game.
Agreed. I think Seattle's going to put up some points this week. We'll see who gets the win there. At my number 2 spot, I got Allen Robinson versus Cincinnati. They got the 30th ranked defense versus the pass. Allen Robinson had 11 targets, 6 receptions. He only had 35 yards, but he was targeted 2 times in the red zone. So I think this week he'll have higher actual yardage numbers, and he'll get in the end zone this week. Got a weak pass defense.
Yeah, I agree as well. The only thing I think it's holding Robinson back is Andy Dalton. They got to come up with something. If they do, and when they do, he's going to have some big games. But I'm expecting more of the same out of Allen Robinson this week.
I agree, and I think he's going to have a little bit better numbers. And, dude, absolutely. So Dalton has been, above mediocre quarterback for most of his time. He's had a couple good years, but he's kind of just more of a serviceable quarterback, kind of like a Joe Flacco or whatever. But if they put in Justin Fields, that's going to change that offense. I'd say right now their offense is kind of a mediocre to a little bit better than average offense, but more like mediocre. But, man, you put Justin Fields in there, kid's baller. I think he was 25-2 as a college guy, and that's with including his playoff games in the college football playoffs. Kid's a stud. He's got that extra heart to go win. So when you put him in, if they have some chemistry, him and Robinson, I look for Robinson to have big time numbers.
Yeah, he just needs some time. He's a rookie. He'll learn. He'll get there.
Agreed. So moving down the list to number 3, I have 2 guys here, and it's because they both play for the same team. It's almost like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Even though we said DK right off the top, right underneath him was Tyler Lockett. So similar situation here. So T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So they both are playing Chicago, the 29th ranked defense versus the pass. T. Higgins had 4 receptions for 58 yards. I think he had 6 targets, and I didn't write it down, but he had 1 TD, and he's a red zone threat. He's a big, tall, big guy, so he can get the ball. He's almost like a tight end. He's so tall. So also, Jamar Chase is super fast, and he's a baller. If you've watched the film on him last week, if you've seen his highlight, the kid's the real deal. So he had 5 receptions for 101 yards and a touchdown, and he and Burrow already have good chemistry. So the kid's special. If you got Jamar Chase starting this week, dude, and T. Higgins showed last year he was a stud, and I think he's going to do the same this year. Him and Burrow have a lot of chemistry, so you got either one of those guys. That's why I have him on this list at 3.
Yeah, I agree. I believe in this matchup this weekend with Chicago. I look for those 2 guys to have similar numbers fantasy wise as the two wide receivers from Tampa Bay, Brown and Godwin. I look for them both to possibly put up over 20 fantasy points this weekend.
I agree, man. Absolutely, dude. They're going to have big games, big games. So at 4, I have Cooper Kupp. Seems like him and Stafford like each other, guys. So that means good for the people who drafted Cooper Kupp, not knowing what really is going to happen. So he's playing9 this week, 23rd ranked defense versus the pass. He had 7 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. And I think it said he had like 9 or 10 targets. So he's, McVay has him installed in the offense. You can rest assured he's going to get the ball. He's the red zone target. He had 2 red zone targets last week. So he's going to get at least 1 touchdown. He might get 2. So, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about Cooper Kupp in that Stafford situation? I love that. I love the chemistry these guys have already.
Yeah, I love it as well. Cooper Kupp is that safety net for Stafford. He's that slot guy that he can just throw a midfield pass to when he needs that first down, pick up some yardage. But I look for there's potential for another big game.
Agreed. He's going to have another big game. I agree. So my next guy on the list at 5 is Keenan Allen versus Dallas. Dallas gave up a lot of pass yards last week, so they're ranked 28th versus the pass. The reason why I put Keenan Allen on here, man, is Justin Herbert's a stud. Remember if you watched the quarterback video, he's a stud. He was one of the guys like at the top of this list that we just said his name right off the top. Just start him, right? So with that said, he and Keenan Allen have developed some chemistry. He and Herbert are heating up together. And he had 13 targets, 9 receptions, 100 yards, 4 red zone targets. So he didn't get a touchdown, but I look for him to definitely get a touchdown this week versus the weaker defense.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. The Dallas secondary is weak. They're going to get eat up this week. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I believe.
I agree. I think it will be a lot of numbers for fantasy guys. So my number 6 guy is Marvin Jones. He's going against Denver. They have the 24th ranked versus the pass. He had 9 targets. That's why I have him on here. He's kind of installed in the offense. He's the vet there for Trevor Lawrence coming over from Detroit. So they trust him apparently. And he had 9 targets, 5 receptions, 77 yards, and a TD. He's a solid vet. And he and Trevor Lawrence already have some chemistry. So I believe it's going to continue. He's going to be kind of like, since they already built some chemistry together, he's going to be looking for him all the time. So that's why he's on here at 6.
Yeah, I agree. I believe he's Lawrence's go-to guy when he needs if he's in a bind, he needs somebody to go to quick. So yeah, I look for another good game from him.
Agreed. Now with since we're talking Jacksonville, they struggled last week. He threw Lawrence threw 3 TDs and 3 picks. So it's hard when you throw three picks to come back and win any game, no matter how good you are. But with that said, he threw 3 touchdowns and I can't remember how many yards, but he had a solid game. So dude, Marvin Jones, like I was saying, is a bet. They have a lot of other talented receivers there that what's his name? DJ Shark or whatever. Yeah. He's a solid stud. And then that Chenault Jr. guy, he's an athlete. Like I was saying on the waiver wire video, I think it was the waiver wire video. So like those guys could be scary if Lawrence develops chemistry and has enough time to actually go through his progressions and read who's open. So, I know that they're struggling now, but dude, if Lawrence is who he was in college and starts to come around, you could have a lot of fantasy points there for people that, those other 2 wide receivers, I believe, are out there on the waiver wire, probably in most leagues anyways. So that's why, I think Jacksonville has a chance by the end of the season to be able to become a fantasy viable option for people.
Yeah. When Travis Etienne went down, that was sort of a blow to that offense. That would have been another safety net that Lawrence would have had to dump the ball off to if he got in a bind.
Agreed. It would have made the defensive coordinators have to adjust how they play the defense. But without him, man, they can play a little bit different style of D, which is probably more effective. So let's go to number 7. Number 7, and that's Jarvis Landry. They versed Houston this week, the 26th ranked defense versus the pass. Landry had 5 receptions, 71 yards. He didn't get any touchdowns, but I look for him to build off the numbers he had last week, and I think he sees the end zone this week. So that's why I got him here at 7.
Yeah, I agree. We still have no Odell Beckham. I honestly don't know if we'll probably see him before at least, I don't know, week 5 or 6. It's not looking good. He's not progressing, I don't think, as well as he ought to have.
You don't heal as fast as you do when you're younger, and he's kind of an older guy. I can't remember his age. He's probably 28 or above, and you just don't heal those. It's harder for yourself to heal the older you are. So
that's true. And with Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield, that's going to make the defense be honest, and it's going to leave Jarvis Landry open. So.
Yep, I agree. It sucks the defense forward with all that rushing, and that's why that offense has been so successful. And Landry's such a vet, dude. He's so good at finding the open space, and Mayfield's pretty good at they have a chemistry together. Him and Landry do, so he's good at finding. It's almost like he's like, oh no, where's Landry? Remember where Landry's at? Just throw the ball over there, he'll get it. So I like that. I like that hook up there.
All right, go ahead and give us your next pick.
All right, so number 8 is Brandon Cooks. He's playing Cleveland. He's on the other side, but I like Brandon Cooks. He had 7 targets for 5 receptions, 132 yards. He didn't get in the end zone, but I think he has another great game, and I believe he'll get the end zone this week. Cleveland's 22nd versus the pass D, so I think he has a chance this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely possibility there for him to have another big game with a departure of Will Fuller leaving to go to Miami. It pretty much makes him the man. So
agreed. I agree there. Now I'm going to get to these next guys. These guys could have easily been on the list that we just said, but they're playing top defenses. So let me give you these 3 guys real quick here at the end. You got to start them if you have them, guys. That's why I'm giving you these guys' names. But we don't necessarily love the matchup because the defenses are solid that they're going against. But Debo Samuel, Philly has the number 1 ranked defense versus the pass after last week. So with that said, dude, Debo Samuel went off, dude. His numbers were crazy. He had 189 yards, a touchdown. He had 12 targets and 9 receptions. I mean, so he was pretty much I think Garoppolo only threw for under 300 yards. 189 yards is more than half of what the quarterback threw. So Samuel's definitely installed in that offense. So start the guy. I don't care if it's the number 1 ranked defense or not. So the next guy, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, I was just going to totally agree with you. He was a beast last week.
You were the one that reminded me about him. So yeah, I figured you'd have a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely the number 1 wideout on that team. But I'm expecting him to have another big game.
Yeah, even though it's against the top defense, that guy's a super stud, man. So he could easily have been at the top of this page with the other guys. But we go by matchups, and because it's the number 1 ranked D, that's why he's down here. Or else he'd probably be up with the other guys with DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill and those other guys, Devontae Adams. But so our next guy's Amari Cooper, and he could easily be at the top of the list that we say at the beginning of the video. He had 17 targets, 13 receptions, 131 yards, and 2 TDs, 3 red zone targets. So he's definitely Dak's go-to guy. But they're playing the Chargers, and the Chargers have the number 2 ranked defense. They got a heck of a pass rush there. So will he be able to get as many targets? I don't know. They're probably going to be playing from behind because the Chargers are good. Herbert and Keenan Allen and that whole bunch is ready to rock, dude. And they got a solid defense to go behind it. So believe me and my Chiefs are scared of them. And matter of fact, our whole division, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Don't sleep on Denver and the Las Vegas Raiders, dude. I thought I only had to worry about Justin Herbert and the Chargers, but after seeing last week, man, I'm worried about all the teams in my division.
Yeah, I like that matchup with Amari Cooper. They're not going to be able to spread the field quite as much as they did last week. Gallup getting hurt, but they've still got CD Lamb and of course Amari Cooper, and then they've got the tight end Jarvis out there.
Yeah, Jarwin, and they've got that Schultz guy. So yeah, they're gonna. I believe last week they had more downfield throws, right? Because their the pass rush wasn't as great as it's going to be this week. So you look for them to have more routes for their wide receivers to break off sooner, like quick throw routes. And once they do that, it might even open up for Ezekiel Elliott to have a little bit of rushing, which would push the defense from cheating so much. And who knows what could happen, dude. I'm telling you, Dallas got a top offense. So go get any guy you can in that offense. I think pretty much all of them are going to produce. They're all going to be point producers. With that all said, last guy, but not least at all, this guy's a stud too. He could easily be at the top of the list. It's Chris Godwin. They're playing Atlanta, the 17th ranked D. So that's why he definitely could have a good big game like he did last week. Last week, he was targeted 13 times, 9 receptions, 105 yards, 1 TD, and 4 red zone targets. So he and Brady are on the same page. Brady's actually on the same page with Gronk, Godwin, and Brown. So that's another offense. You can get one of those guys, or you already have a guy in Tampa Bay, play them because they're going to get you points, man. We want to help you guys win this league.
Yeah, I totally agree. Godwin's going to get his, even though they do have so many options out there. Brady's going to throw it enough that, he's going to distribute the ball to everyone. So,
and it's crazy, dude, for a guy his age, be throwing the ball 40 plus times a game, dude. And it's just, he has so many options. I mean, I compare, okay, so to me, some of the top offenses are, since we're here at the end of the video, is obviously my Chiefs, Dallas, Tampa Bay, and Arizona. I mean, if you can get somebody off the waiver wire in there, like I put Christian Kirk on the waiver wire. That kid I didn't put him on the on this wide receiver list, but he was on the waiver wire video. If you can get Christian Kirk for Arizona, play him. You know what I mean? He's going to get you a lot of points. So with the end of the video, I want to say thank you again for everybody that comes and watches the videos. We appreciate all your support. We're going to keep doing all the hard work and looking at all these numbers and figuring out who we think are our best guess at who's going to be able to get you guys points and help you win your league. So with that said, I'll hand it back to the host.
I appreciate that, guys. And again, if you enjoyed the video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and always remember, friends don't let friends auto draft.